All right, welcome to another episode of What's Good, Cheyenne. And in this episode, we're just gonna talk about why you should move to Cheyenne, Wyoming, what makes Wyoming special,
Yeah,
and what our favorite things are about
exactly.
Cheyenne. And I'm
Well,
your
and
host, J.P. and this is Curtis Lackey.
charmed, I'm sure.
Oh, I know I am for sure. All right, man. So what you got for us today?
Well, I was seeing another report the other day on national news talking about how bad the real estate market is, and I keep thinking, don't they're saying no one's buying, no one's selling. I said that's not true. You and I both have. We're showing a lot of houses, so are a lot of agents. So I found something that says, why would you want to buy a house in this market? And now I love what they wrapped it up with. They said, if you talk to someone who bought a house 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, a year ago, are they going to be sorry they did it? No, they're going to be glad that they did because it's the best investment you can make. And when they keep saying, well, what about the prices and stuff? There are tricks we're learning from bankers and stuff, especially from one of our sponsors here, that you can do. What it basically boils down to is that the buyer needs to have some money to bring to the closing table, whether it's buying down percentage points or putting up a nicer down payment. I've had a lot of people say, I want to do a down payment. Now, I have had some people say, well, I want to just start do a contract for deed. A lot of people don't want to do a contract for deed. There's too many things that go wrong with that thing
Yeah,
because you,
it kind of depends. I would say that creative financing is definitely an option as if the home is paid for.
yeah,
And especially if you're older folks and you want to, spread out your capital gains and not pay a bunch of capital gains all at once, then doing a
yeah,
contract for deed is definitely something that's favorable, as well as you can usually, if you're the buyer, get favorable rates.
yeah. But the tricks, and I think the best thing, the advice we could give a buyer is save up your money, get your credit going, like we always said, and save up your money. You either want to buy down your percentage points or you want to put on a really good down payment. People do that with cars all the time. You can do that with houses as
Yep.
well.
Yep. Yeah, and the other big popular thing right now is doing VA assumables, assuming people's loans.
Yeah.
And one of
Mhm.
the things about that is, and for those of you that are just tuning in, so a VA assumable is where a person comes in and says the house, let's say the house is 500 grand, and they have a debt of, let's say it's 400, and they have an interest rate of like 2.75. But the thing is that the person that's buying the house has to qualify for the full 500 grand because that's what it's listed for.
Yeah.
They can assume the $400,000 loan, so you can take over basically the bank will assign that old loan to you at that old interest rate. But the caveat is that the house is selling for 500, then
Hmm.
either you have to bring 100 grand to the table or you have to get a second on that property.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you have to have a pretty high A1, A plus credit score in order to qualify for these loan types, as
Yeah.
well as getting a second. So a lot of times they want a reserve amount in the bank, or they might need a super low debt to income ratio to qualify for a second. And then sometimes when you're combining the two, so if you have to take out $100,000 loan for a second at like 9% interest, and then you're getting a 2.75 on the rest, it might not make sense if you combine those two payments together as one versus just getting a, you know, 6.75 interest rate and then just getting a deal done. And,
Exactly.
so, and a lot of times it can take up to 90 days to do a VA assumable. Now, some banks are getting it done right now. I've seen in 60 days, but you just kind of have to run. And it's not always about the interest rate. We keep hearing that all the time. It's not about the interest rate. It's about the payment. If the payment makes sense, then do the deal. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Don't be afraid to try. And I mean, talk to your bank loan officer too. That's what they're there for.
yep.
different ways to do it. So a lot of them will tell you, save up some money, get your credit really well. Don't go off. And the best advice I give anybody, once you're under contract, don't go out and buy a new vehicle or furniture for your house. Don't make any purchases, major purchases, until you have closed. So
Yeah, you're in financial jail until you close.
exactly, because it's happened where someone will drive up. I've heard this story many times here in Cheyenne, where someone is under contract, they're getting ready to close, and they drive up in their brand new pickup, and they didn't close because
So
they do run a little check on.
yeah, so one little thing with that is don't even like apply for a credit card.
No,
That will ding your credit too. I had that happen to me where we got
yeah,
delayed by 2 months to close.
because you're increasing your debt ratio, so you don't want to do that.
Yep, and they preoccupied the property too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that was
exactly.
pretty wild.
So don't listen to all the naysayers saying, "Oh, you don't want to buy or sell right now." Yeah, you can. You can. It's a good thing still. It's still a good smart thing to do instead of renting all the time. Unless you want to rent one of my properties, then it's cool.
There you go. There you go.
And the other thing we're talking about is how, if you're in Cheyenne right now, here it is in July and it's cold as can be. This is not the norm. Normally, it's actually pretty warm this time of the year. I don't know what's going on here, but it's cloudy, has been for days. I have my coat on. I'm freezing.
Yeah, well, that's one of my favorite things about Cheyenne is that the weather is always changing.
Yeah, yeah,
Once
yeah.
you get bored with one, just hold on.
Yeah, this way it'll change in the next hour or so. But the thing that like we're not used to, but we're hearing people talk about it, is the humidity we're having right now. We've had a lot of rain, everything, and you can just feel the humidity. And when that sun comes out, it's going to get hot, and then it'll be time for Frontier Days. It's always a lot of people say, "How do you guys stand the wind during Frontier Days?" We don't have wind during Frontier Days. We have rain, but we don't have wind during Frontier Days. So
Yeah, wind, rain, hail, we've seen it
yeah,
all.
yeah, we've had some hail too. So that's why whenever you buy a
Oh,
house in
hail
Cheyenne,
no.
not Laramie, but Cheyenne, you've got to have a roof that's passes inspections. I've had people in Laramie say, "Why are you guys so strict about the roofs in Cheyenne?" It's because we have more hail than you guys do. A lot more hail.
Yeah, well, we do have some
So
agents up in Casper that are starting to use that roof clause.
really,
Yeah, because they realize like, man, this
yeah,
is really nice to, take the roof out of the equation when it comes to negotiations,
yeah,
you know. Um,
yep. Because
so
in
yeah,
Laramie they don't get as much, and they're only an hour drive, so it's really close.
awesome. Well, what else do you have for us, Curtis? Anything? Any news? What's anything that
Just
happened?
Well, just like I said, it's a good time still to look to buy a house. The rates, the prices are higher than they were before. They've come down a little bit, but I don't know if they're going to drop like they did before because they were dropping more than they had in a long, long time. If you're waiting for those, I've been told if you're waiting for those long, really low prices, you're going to wait a long time for that. So just go out, look at the house you like, look at your pre-qual amount, start looking around at your price range, and voila.
Awesome. Well, there is a few couple things that are of newsworthy.
Yeah.
If anybody's familiar with Five Finger Death Punch,
Oh yeah.
Ivan Moody, the lead singer of Five Finger Death Punch, has opened up two businesses in Cheyenne. One
Hmm.
is called the Rock Shop. It's kind of like a convenience store slash rock memorabilia slash gas station. And then
Oh, I want to check that out.
the other one is a facility or a counseling center to help um, people going through rehab. Excuse me.
Oh, okay. So giving back to the community then. That's real good. So
Yeah.
is the store open yet? The memorabilia
They're
store?
doing a big open house at the store on the 14th.
I'll be there. I want to see that. I want to see that. Because it's not memorabilia on just his group. It's for all rock and roll, isn't it?
Yeah, that to my understanding, that's what's going on now.
Okay. Then we'll have someone do a country one too, and then we'll have the best of both worlds.
The country. What country one do we have?
And I said we should get one for country.
Oh, yeah. Considering that we're, the cowboy state and all.
Well, yeah. I mean, I like both rock and country. You got to hear my playlist. You think two people are playing. So maybe you and I can get a country. We can get a country memorabilia going.
Sure.
Or do you listen to country?
Not so much. I'm more of a
You don't look like a cowboy.
I'm more of a hip hop kind of a guy instead. So
Okay. Yeah. Well, I worked
in a country / rock / eclectic band in Cheyenne for 7 years.
Okay. Yeah, I worked in both country and rock radio and top 40 radio. So I like a little bit of everything.
There you go.
All righty.
So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, Curtis, and know more about what's good in Cheyenne, how can people get a hold of you?
There are many ways. You can give me a call or text 307-286-0729. That's 307-286-0729. Or you can email me, Kurt with a C, kurtlackeyholmes@gmail.com. Check out my YouTube channel. That's Kurt Lackey Holmes as well. And my Facebook. Be glad to help you join the family.
Awesome. And if you want to know what's going on over in my world, you can check out my YouTube channel, J.P. or you can head on over to titanreteam.com, or you can shoot me a DM on any of the platforms, as well as if you want to just call me directly, 307-772-1184. And that's how you get a hold of me. So if you like what you're hearing here, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit those alerts, because we put these videos out each and every week. And we'll
share the videos too.
Make sure you share with a friend, because somebody always wants to know what's good in Cheyenne. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.